Hey guys, and how's it going? This is my 1965 Ford Econoline pickup that I've been putting back together for the last couple of years, and finally it's been on the road and got to drive it for, I don't know, we probably put a couple hundred miles on it, but it's got an issue, and its issue is its clutch is slipping. We need to put one of these in there, along with the pressure plate and the throwout bearings noisy and all, and whatever else we can kind of go pick away to make it a better running truck. But I must say, it's doing quite well, but this is definitely going to help. So without further ado, let's go get this in the garage and do that to it, kind of. Well, considering we're going to be operating on the thing pretty good, let's go get one of the battery ends off of it. That's why you bring 2 wrenches. Neither one fits. Yeah, because you're probably going to have to take the starter off. Most likely. Alright, let's go get it up in the air. See what's cooking underneath. Alright, got it up in the air. Let's go see what we got. Actually, looks got a decent amount of room around it. Let's get this out of our way. So all the normal stuff. We got to get the drive shaft off, speedometer cable. Looks like we got 2 linkages coming down from the shifter. It's again 3 on the tree. So we'll mark where those were. That's just a pin. Yeah, we could pull the pin right on. We can leave them right where they were. Nice. The clutch has an adjustable arm on it with a return spring on it. What else we got? Oh, is the exhaust gonna have to come off? Nah, I think we got plenty of room around that. That starter may have to come out. Yeah, we're gonna bolt that starter. I think we could probably get that from down below. And we get this linkage rod going across. No, that's actually in the engine. That probably could stay. We could pull maybe a pin there. Actually, I could probably leave that too. Take a spring off. The arm will probably just drop right out of our way. What else we got? Ding. Yeah, we got nest material coming out. Somebody's been living in there. Yeah, it's part of our problem. I guess we're gonna go find out. All right, let me get some stuff out of the way and kind of move it along. Let me get the drive shaft off, the cable out of the way, these linkages off, and we'll work our way to the front. And oh, we got a motor mount up top to get out of there. Transmount, I should say. Yeah, let me pick away at this, get some stuff off of her and get her. I actually have a jack too, a trans jack for a high lift, never used before. I'm gonna go play with that and educate herself. Let's get the wrenching. Give that a quick little feel. I feel pretty good. They have needle bearings inside them. And they have a tendency to burn up. Not today. Let's see if we just leave that to the side. You didn't think it was just gonna fall right out, did you? Grab some vice grips, maybe we could rock it a little. Get that skid plate out of there. Skid plate. What do you want to call it? It's not skid plate. Inspection cover. Is that it? Not sure if that's going to come down or not. A lot of times it does, especially on automatic, because you have to access the torque converter bolts. Sometimes this is all one piece going up, which I think may be the case. But it had to come off anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's all one piece. Well, I could tell you, the exhaust isn't hot. The starter is. I don't know if it's just being close to the manifold, or just like, you know, engine heat maybe soaking. But you can touch the exhaust with your hand, not a problem. But not so much on the starter. Drop and smash my Fausto's up in the face. Oh, ooh, she's hot. Woohoo! Hot potato. Alright. What else we gotta do? Should probably support the engine and start taking the rear trans mount off a bit, I guess. Back by that trans mount, try to figure out what our better option is. We got two going this way, and we got two going across through the top. I would think these would probably come out easier. These may be stuck in the aluminum, but I'm thinking, because the transmission has to come backwards, we only have to drop it down about ½ an inch here to clear the mount so it can come back. Well, I think this assembly up here is going to kind of run into this stuff. Let's try these. If it doesn't work, we'll move up ahead. Deal? All right. Actually pretty good. A little bit of aluminum corrosion, but not too bad. Sometimes those things just weld themselves, you know? Aluminum on steel. Halfway there. I cracked them with a wrench on the other side ahead of time. Yeah, on the nut side. So it wasn't gonna happen. I do have a jack under the oil pan holding this. I should have some pressure on it. Come on. That's not going to happen. We got to get the engine to go up just a hair. Actually, that trans jack didn't go up very high, so I kind of moved things around. I have like one of those threaded jacks now in the oil pan, going up with that. There you go. And then maybe we'll use the other, because we don't have to actually pull the transmission down. We could leave it up in the air. So there's a roller jack on the table that we can use for setting the trans on. Let's see how she backs away. Come out of there. And then we just kind of back away because we're just changing the clutch. We're not changing the trans. Let's see how far that'll drop down for us on the motor mounts. Again, that front jack can stay there. That should be more than enough. I think we have maybe 6 transmission bolts going around, not this one, but further up on the bell housing. We'll take them off, and I'll slide the trolley jack back underneath here, maybe with some wood, and we'll run that up to the trans and give it something to sit on and pull that back away. And see if we can get some of them out of there. Contortionist. How about that way? We got like 3 more to go. Leave the easiest one to last, one that's over by the starter. Maybe one that has to come out there. I'm not sure if that's just a locating pin or a bolt. said the easiest one for last. There we go. That's one below the starter. I'll take a quick peek around and see if there's anything else holding it. Yeah, there might be something right there. If not, we'll get a big pry bar in between, try to wedge this thing back a little bit and see if we can back her off. Well, just in case it all goes south, I slid a rubber mat on the floor. Give it a fighting chance. You gonna move for us? You gotta go with the job, with the trolley. Trying to find some place to pry against that's not. Problem is, like I said, it's got those two dowels in it. There's a dowel on each end to kind of help locate it, but I'm sure they're kind of corroded a little bit. Sometimes they leave you a little, like a little peephole that you can pry off of. That's what's holding us right now, those pins. One there, one on the other side. We could just also just take a screwdriver and a hammer, get up in between it and try driving it. Just don't want to bend that panel up, you know. That's comfortable. You can't get in there. Once it moves a little, that's not an issue. Run that jack up a little. Get my blocks of wood back under it. It might be just hanging too low. There we go. Find out there's like a bolt I missed or something. Take one last peek. Make sure there's nothing going from the engine into the trans. I don't think so. Just read it. Well, I'm going to go I got one wedged on the other side. Let me try one on this side, get a little bit of pressure on it, see if they get the crack loose. It's definitely putting up a fight though. You guys are probably looking right at something saying, you got a bolt right there. I don't see one though. Ah, I see it. You were looking right at it, you didn't tell me. The mount, the mount's in its holder. Just a little too high. Are we out? What if I could use that to pry on? Pull back on here, you know? Yeah, I'm gonna get a screwdriver in between here. I don't know how sturdy that is. It's not what you want, it's what the consumer wants. There. I'm gonna go with our screwdriver. So let's go see if we can not drop this off its stand. The whole assembly should roll. Nope. Alright. Work with us. That's all I'm asking. I don't know if I need more or less pressure on the losing our nuggets. Don't want to lose your nuggets. Get back under there. Come on down. There we go. Ooh, there's all kinds of nests in there. You hung up on that. We got to come down. We're hitting the top, right? And just got to grab that too. That good enough? Should be, right? Let me support that a little bit better so we don't drop it. Get the jack under it a little better. There. Show you what I found. Critter home is what we found. That may have been what our problem was too, all along. Yeah, it's all up inside the clutch, and he went for a ride, that's for sure. There's that throw bearing. That ain't all in that great a shape, huh? Hence the noise. Look at the rust on the clutch shaft. See, that's what also didn't want to come apart. The clutch disc was kind of rusted to the transmission input shaft. All right, let's what do we got going on? Ooh. I don't know why the clutch is slipping. Yeah. You got to focus. It is packed with a nest. That's why. So the disc was probably okay, but it's probably slipping on all the debris. Look at that. No kid. Stinking little guys. All right, let's go get these screws out of the disc, the pressure plate. Get that out of our way and back it up and get a better idea. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the camera in there when I do it, but there's definitely somebody living in there. Yeah, so what happens is the pressure plate couldn't back off all the way. So you push on this, the throw-up bearing, when you push your clutch foot down, pushes on these, it cantilevers a lever, pushes the, backs the plate off of the clutch disc, and then spring-loaded puts it back on when you take your foot back off. But if the fingers can't return all the way because debris is in the way, there ends be your problem. Good thing we got in there. Let's leave that top one to last. We can hang from it. Oh, that's warm too. Give me that rag. Oh yeah. Oh. I got a little hot. Wonder why. It was slipping on Mouse House. Put this down on the bench. We'll compare it to the new clutch. Make sure we got a matching set. And making sure we got apples to apples. It looks pretty good. That one sits much higher on the table itself. Oh, that's going to matter. You know what it might be? It might be just because there's so much stuff in here. It hasn't released and come up to its height, possibly. That's your preload too. You even see the disc was kind of worn. The grooves that go across it. See how like it kind of disappears on the end. Oh, a fresh clutch. You can see how much meat is on there. Yeah, that one's pretty thin. Definitely worth doing. Let's go make sure. Everything looks good. Hopefully that is the same as that. Teeth-wise, looks like it. Yeah. Flip these over. Yeah, you can see how much further these are protruding outward than these are. And I think again, just the travel has been limited to return back because there's just so much nest material. Look at all that nest material packed behind there. Like, look at that. Like, it looks like it's all one piece. Look at the gap that's there. That's what it's supposed to look like. And yeah, this plate is supposed to be able to move back and forth when you push on the clutch, and those springs, return it back out to give drive. I think they're all just kind of packed up. No place to go. Even the springs themselves are even packed. All right. Let me go grab the throw-out bearing. Is that in there? Better be in there. It was supposed to be a set. Yeah. But then it's got the alignment tool. That'll tell us if the discs match. And there's the new throw-out bearing. I would definitely say we got our money's worth out of that clutch. Let's just make sure that yep, fits in that. And it came with the clutch, so I would hope it fits. This is an alignment tool when you're bolting it back together to make sure that when you put the clutch disc in, it can dance around a little bit while it's on the flywheel. This centers it right to the center of the center of the flywheel, so that when you push the transmission back in, you're not trying to fight the alignment between this and the little hole that's in the flywheel. But you can put, you know what I'm talking about. Give me the lip. All right, I'm gonna go clean some stuff up in that on the flywheel, and we'll maybe take a little flapper disc. Get back under there. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's cooked. I don't see burnt spots. I see like a little bit of rust. I don't see hot blue, but let's go get it cleaned off. Get rid of all that nest material. And should we actually have, I'll bring you back. Well, I wouldn't say it is terrible. I do see some pitting up here where rust, you can tell where it's parked from. This is probably the bottom of it right here, and where it held moisture and all that nesting material. Kind of pitted it up a little bit. I think we're going to be okay though. Like I said, I don't see any bluing or cracking or anything. And it's not like we're putting 400 horsepower behind this. Is what's about 100 horsepower maybe, if that. They look pretty decent. And I definitely don't want to breathe any of that in. That's all, asbestos. Kind of like old brake line. It's probably the original clutch too. I don't know. I say we reassemble. The pilot bushing looks pretty good. I don't see it old out or anything. Well, we can go throw that clutch back together with the new one. And the new one you got to kind of crank down. You can't take one bolt at a time. Same thing put together. You can't put one bolt in. You put all the bolts in. You kind of draw around it and just kind of draw the pressure plate in equally with the alignment tool, centering the disc. I'll show you. Yeah, so it can't go this way. It probably won't even allow you to go in all the way. Yeah, see, the material won't even touch. So you can only put the disc in one way. And here's that alignment tool. And what that is doing is making sure that the disc sits center of this so that when the transmission, this is the same as the transmission. Excuse you. This is the same as the transmission input shaft, that everything kind of lines up when you're trying to push the bell housing back together. It is in the center. So the pressure plate's going to go on it with the bolts on it, but then we're just going to crank down evenly on the pressure plate. You can definitely tell summer's here by the party of the bikes. So let's go through. Make sure we kind of line up to a couple of holes. Again, I'm just going to start all the bolts and run them in. And I'll probably use the impact gun to run them close, and then we'll run the rest in by hand. I'm just going to run these in. Then we'll get a ratchet on them, and we'll just run it down the rest of the way. You'll see these fingers too as it we start cranking in. These will start to bend in because they'll have putting pressure on the disc. Kind of like the same idea as when you're torquing down a cylinder head. Just kind of run around and you can see these fingers moving in. And use that also as like a guide. You're doing one more than the other. Let's get ready to rumble. Took my little dual sport out in the sandpit today, putted it around. And just right at the very end of it, I'm kind of going around and I'm crossing the center of it so it doesn't want to turn on me. If I were to do this, it's just going to turn real easy. But if you go across the center, you can kind of control how much I'm rolling. And those aren't very big bolts, so I don't have to go crazy. That feels pretty good. One last check. And hopefully that should just go right out of there. Good. Aligned. And our throwout bearing pushes on these fingers, pushes the fingers in and frees up space between the disc, the two surfaces and the disc. Allows you to be essentially neutral. Let's go look at that throwout bearing. See how that comes off. Sometimes you can rock the whole thing in the arm. It'll come right off the arm if you come out far enough with it. I don't know if that's the case on this. Sounds like it's got a spring behind it. Like a pivot point. I do see something kind of going through here. I don't have to take the arm off if I don't need to. Maybe we should go look at the other one. Plus that'll allow us, like I said, to take a wire wheel, clean a bunch of this stuff up, because this is where we're going to have a hard time getting this on there. We put a little bit of grease on that. A little bit of grease. Yeah, throw up bearings. Flapped out. Then go, can we turn it sideways? I would figure it's probably got like little, like a spring behind it. Let's go C-clip or... Yeah, I'm going to go look at the other one real quick. Yeah, so my guess is this is probably pressed on. Where's our slippity slide side? Yeah. I don't know if that's pressed on. Let's go take a wire wheel. We'll clean up some of this crap on here. We may have to get this whole arm out of here. Maybe it presses off of there. I don't know. Too doity to see right now. Try to squat you in there a little closer. It's kind of snap ring. Let's I got a screwdriver that's kind of bent on an angle. Let's see if we can kind of stick it behind and just pry on it. It may just slide right off. Or it might be pressed, I don't know. Also seeing that little collar in the center. I don't know if that's part of there. Make this backwards. And maybe just pressed on there. Got a bunch of like little trim tools. See if any of them will have access behind it. Like, yeah. One more of you get, I could pull on each side and tag team it, you know. Yeah, she's pretty cooked. And the other one. All right, I'm going to go take a little bit of time on this one too, and do everything we did on the other as far as cleaning stuff up. See if we can push that fork back all the way. I'm going to take a wire wheel, like I said, clean all this stuff up. And you guys are on a brand new camera. This is what kills them. All the dust and dirt going in them. So I'm going to spare you the hangout of dealing with that, because I don't want you to have cataract surgery. Let's see if we can, a piece of pipe would probably help. Let's see if we can get the nylon hammer. Yeah, I think that's got it. And just to help things go together a little better, very sparingly, we're going to get a little bit of grease on the tip. Just the tip. And the very center of this, it's got a bevel on it to kind of help you get it started. And there's two things. You got the pilot bushing inside that flywheel. That little bushing is in the middle. It catches this, and then of course the clutch disc catches this. I think we need anything for here. Let's go give it a hair, just around. Probably more of like a rust preventative. I'm thinking like the so the collar doesn't well, it's actually the next day because the battery ran out on the camera, and we decided to let her go charge up and I can go clean up. I think we are pretty much good to go on our reassembly. I don't think we had anything outstanding that we needed to address. Right? Speak now. Anything? I think we are okay. So let's start working on getting that trans slid back in there. Hopefully it doesn't fight us too much. And we can get this thing back together. All right, we can get on the side of the lift over there and do some wiggling. Get on up there. I had a physical this morning. Let's go put it in gear. There we go. I had a physical this morning, and the guy's like, you know, they stick that little flashlight thing in your ear. He said, uh-oh. He goes, I see you have a black spot in your ear. I go, it might be dirt. He sticks his finger and it gives like a little, it goes, yeah. I was doing the clutch. Thinking I had a tumor or something. Should probably watch it from the front side, maybe a little bit better. So the idea was when I put it in gear so that I could turn this and that shaft rotates, because I have to try to get the splines to latch up. Match up, not latch up. Too much. He's also, you're about due for a tetanus shot. Yeah, you may want to give me that too. This transmission is so light, you can probably just pick it up and throw it in there. You're almost there. I think it's gonna go up here, so just go use the wood. Chase it all around. Yeah, I think our angles, I think we had to go like that just a little more. You guys got a better view than I do. Yeah, we got an air gap on top. Twist. And this is the fight you kind of expect. Maybe a little more. We only have so much room before we hit that. I do a reach around. So remember, we had to pry that out of there, didn't we? There it goes. Probably. We closed right up? Yeah. We go get a bolt in it, and then I'll just jack it up and try to get these two bolts up in the top. I think we didn't fight this too bad. Good. How's our fork feel? Feels pretty good. I'm sure the adjustment's going to be way out. So that has to get, what, longer? We need to... maybe not. Should be able to pop it back in neutral. We gotta line that dry shaft up, so this is the one we moved, right? Is it this one? Oh, this one. No, it was that one. There we go. So we're neutral. Now we can line the dry shaft up to get the 4 bolts on. Let's elevate ourselves. I think we need a pry bar or screwdriver, so we can get that started. Think we'll get it without it? Let's try it. No. Get out there. Another 1/4 inch. I'm gonna go clean those 2 bolts up before I put them in. We better get rid of that jack now. Get that out of our way. Little thing comes in handy. I like it. Get rid of that. And we can get rid of. Now we got some elbow room. I'm just going to go take some time and start chasing all the little bits and pieces that need to go back in their homes. And go from there. I did order a new fuel pump. That one was leaking. That won't be here for a few days, so. Before I button it all up, it feels like the pedals are all the way back. That's how much free play it has before it actually starts even pushing on the clutch. Let's go loosen up this turnbuckle here and run this out. Make sure that we're going to be within adjustment, that we don't have something that's wrong inside that clutch, you know? I don't know if it would be bad if I climbed up inside and kind of pushed it through its motion. But yeah, let's go get a wrench on here. Let's go loosen this up. I don't know how much thread is still inside here. If there's, because that's going to be, that's a good inch. I can see it needing some adjustment. That seems excessive though. You seem to remember we were kind of questioning with on the pressure plate where it was kind of sitting, one was taller than the other. Probably wouldn't hurt just to take this whole thing apart, put it on a wire wheel, clean it up, but let's see. Let's see what we get. See if it'll go. There's many rods in the way. That's the lock nut. What do we got now? Yeah, still got a ton to go. Because I can see that if the clutch is wearing, which way would it go? Would you have to... Especially if this linkage just comes right apart, we know we're way out. It's not getting shaky yet. You know, when it's almost out, it gets that like rocky kind of. Let's leave it right there. I think it's probably got still about that much more thread in it, which is fine if that's the case. You know what? I'm of the mind. We just take it apart. Yeah, there we go. We got to do this plenty adjustment. Good. But I'm gonna go take it with a wire wheel. I'm gonna go clean those threads up. Oh yeah, there was plenty. So it wants to be right there. Yeah, it's leaving, I don't know, 10, 12 threads still in it. If I'm gonna go get that nut off, we'll clean up on a wire wheel and lube it up so it makes it for finer adjustment later on. And then I wanna hop up top and hit the pedal, just in case something feels weird. You'll feel, it feels smooth, or something's crunching in there, we'll know what's wrong. There's your nuts. That way in the future, I think as the clutch wears, you would have to make the rod shorter, right? Because the pressure plate, the disc is getting smaller. So is the pressure plate going in? I don't know. I'm confused myself. Give it a little bit of free play. Let's go throw a wrench on that, and then we'll go let the car down and hit the pedal. Tension spring. Get back on there. Yeah. All right. Because we want a little bit of, because if you don't have any movement in it, I'll show you on the throw-up bearing. I'm just worried that sometimes there was like little tabs that you're supposed to pull out when you tighten it down. I don't think that was the case, that they were still left in there. But anyhow, so here's the throw-up bearing, and it touches those three arms. You can see how bad this one is. It's not even sitting racked. All the crap that's on it. Pretend that's sitting level. Well, you want this bearing to have about, I don't know, a 1/4 inch up off of that, so it's not touching. So when you're driving the vehicle all the time, this bearing is not spinning. If you snug up where it's touching the back of the pressure plate, the bearing's going to overheat and cook because it's spinning all the time. It's only supposed to spin when you put your foot down on the clutch. That's when I think I was showing it in the beginning. You kind of, as soon as you put your foot on the pedal, you hold the clutch down, you hear like a whining sound, then it goes away when you release it. That's the noise of the throw-up bearing. Well, that throw-up bearing is going to cook itself if it's making contact all the time. Yes. Let's see what we get. Yeah, it feels good. Rubbing on the carpet a little bit, but that's the free play that we should have, like we talked about. And it feels like even pressure all the way. All right, I feel more confident about buttoning it up. I just wanted to go through all that when we had a problem. Let's get the back tires off the ground. Good. That way, kind of run it in place. Let's go fire it up. Thought I forgot, didn't you? Because I did. And cold start. You think choke? It's got a lot more. Definitely has a lot more pedal pressure than it did before. I'm hoping we're good. We're in neutral. Let's see what we get. Pump her a couple times. It's not liking us. How about choking? Usually starts without it. Didn't grind. And the speedometer's moving. Second gear. There's some choke. Third gear. Good. Give it a little bit of choke to keep the RPMs up. Seems fine to me. Tire's a little out of round, huh? You don't notice it going down the road. Yeah, a little hoppy. Go check the other one. Sounds good, don't it? Yeah, about the same. I'm gonna go let that run for a minute. Gonna open the door, let some air in. I want to get the fluids kind of mixed up in the rear and in the transmission. Well, I can't recall whether we did gear oil on this. I don't think so. So I think that's. Plus, I probably would have wanted it to run it, you know, because all the sludge would just sit on the bottom. First rule: always take out the fill plug before you take out the drain plug, because if the fill plug don't come out, and you take all the fluid out of it, you're kind of screwed. Let's go see if gotta probe it. It's in there. It's kind of gunky looking. So there's one down below. Can you see it? Yeah. Let's go see if that one crack loose. And that definitely does not look like it's been out of there. And I don't think the wrench wants to fit on it. The top one was 9/16. I don't know if it's just rusty, or can we tap it with a hammer? You throw an adjustable on it. Yeah, I would say she's rusty. Nothing comes out. You gotta poke it with a stick to get it going. Come on. I just don't have to worry about dropping the drain plug, right? Don't splash me. I have a good shirt on. I don't know, wait till it goes, and it's pretty dark. I looked at the rear. It's got a fill plug, but it doesn't have a drain plug. Yeah, I think you got to pull the cover off, and I don't have a gasket for that. So we'll check the fluid level on the back. What do you got for crud on the drain plug? It's got a magnet on it. Oh, it's like what's going on with that? It's like 2 bars with a magnet. A little bit. I don't see anything really to worry about. Well, that front strain. Let's go check the rear. It looks like I may have already done it. But I'd rather No. Rather have dirty fluid in it than no fluid in it. So we just top it off. You stick your finger in there and yeah, definitely that should be getting a change too. Like I said, I don't have a gasket right now. I wonder if I could draw some out with something. I have any kind of pump that I can, what do you think about that? Let's see if I can come up with something, even just like a turkey baster if we have to. Yeah, that's what came out of the trans. And definitely say the rear is probably gonna be about the same. Nasty. Probably original. Alright, here we are. My first thought, I got the hose probably sitting right down here, is maybe we try putting a turkey baster on it, see if we can get like a siphoning action going. Let's just see if we get anything. And then my second thought may end up just as bad as the gas tank did. For those who don't know, if you look at the gas tank behind it, it has an eclectic look to it because somebody put air in it and turned it from a 16-gallon tank to like a 20-gallon tank. Now it's going. Slow, but it's going. We'll let that do its thing over here. Not in a hurry. I can go fill the transmission back up while this is draining out. I was going to do is take a rag, wrap it around, and take an air gun and give it like a shot and not blow out all the seals. Now, because I'm a glutton for punishment. Now, just blowing it in my face. It's going, it's just super slow though. Getting impatient. Yeah, the doctor. You got a black spot in your ear. You got a tumor. No, doing a clutch. Better doing a clutch than the other, right? Well, it wasn't much more, if that, of a quart even coming out of it. I don't think it's a very big gearbox. But let's see what we get. It's going to happen. You'll go till all of a sudden it'll start overflowing out the plug hole. You know it's full. And yes, I put the empty plug in. Oh, I blame it on processed foods. One down. Can't touch it yet. Can't touch this. Where is it? There you go. Yeah, it was pretty low. I would say we probably got a quart out of it and we're a quart and a half in already. There we go. Let's get a little more. Let it rinse out. Call that for the win. Pretty much almost all that whole other one, so yeah, she was down a bit. That's why I couldn't touch it. Yeah, I think we may let that come back in about an hour. Let it do its thing. I'd rather try to let it get as much as we can out of it, and being how dirty it is. Well, I think we're about done. Actually got much more out of I think we got more out of the rear end than we did the trans. The trans stuff actually was kind of burnt too a little. Let's go top that off. So the rear end took about 2.5 quarts. You can even see that's the trans level. And the level of the rear end probably almost double. Again, I don't think this was all that full. That's a little more on the brown color. Just a little bit more in the blackish. But definitely both needed it. Probably run it maybe another 500 miles. It probably wouldn't hurt to do it one more time. Well, now that we got the major mechanical issue repaired, let's go chase some other little small, see how much time we get some of the little things knocked out that I have for it. We got some metal mud flaps to the back. I'm not sure if I want to use them or not. We got CB antennas, one for each mirror, like 3-foot whip antennas. Of course, it's got a CB. They go with that. I want to throw a fire extinguisher in it just for the fact that the fuel pump is actively leaking. A couple of eyeball mirrors. We got a necker knob for the steering wheel, and we got overflow bottle for the radiator, because it just right now it just dumps on the ground. So, and a stereo if we get into any of that. Little Pioneer Super Tuner from a yard sale. Let's go start easy and work our way up. Let's go get those little mirrors on there. I gotta put these on everything. The blind spots, that get you. It's just good. You can't really tell. You're not gonna be definitive of what's there, but you can tell with the, what do you call it? When you have that, kind of like a funhouse mirror, you know something's there. And these ones are pretty cool because you could put them on and they have an offset to them. I always like to go in this bottom lower corner because you really can see nothing out of this corner anyway. And what you can do is they rotate, so you can kind of steer it a little bit compared to wherever the other mirror is. Put them on during the winter time. You get about 5 miles away. Look at your mirrors going, falls off. Happens. All right, let me get the other one done. We need a good place for that. I don't think it has to be like super close to easy to reach, but I don't think we want to hide it too bad. I'm thinking, as far as like the CB and the radio probably could hang underneath the center of the dash right here, and maybe the CB on the console. Maybe, as long as it doesn't inhibit the cover from opening, right? Don't mind it right there. Flip it around where it's easier to. I don't know if we can we hang it sideways on that bracket, or do we have to hang it straight up and down? Because I think that's only a single wall. We'll be, if we drill, we're going to be sticking out of the bed over there. On about. Again, it's. I don't know about that. Let's go flip that console up. Let's go see how far this goes. Yeah, it's no good. It's not going to fit there, huh? Pick your place. Inside the engine compartment. Alright, I'm going to go poke around a little bit, see what I can come up with. I'll do it on that door. That would kind of suck too, huh? I'm going to go sit in the passenger seat, see where your feet go, maybe. I also think that might be only one piece of metal from the outside. If it's double walled, it might be okay there. Maybe we could put it like below the heater, down in that area. All right, I heard you. I'm gonna say right there. As long as it doesn't, rattle. That's the only thing I'm kind of concerned about. Yeah, let's go drill a couple of holes, hang the bracket right there. We can grab it from the driver's seat real quick. Get it out of the way, The other side is probably where I would store more stuff because there's a battery box down here on this side. The battery box is down below, so executives, sometimes you just got to drill holes and go for it. Let's go do it. looks straight, it is straight. Let's go for the bottom one. I am an asshole. Yeah, I heard you. Too late. You're doing it wrong. Uh-huh. I know. Tell me you don't do this. Fortunately, 2 of them we can use over, and 1 we gotta drill a new hole for. Here's the fun part, how you get that snapped. That's kind of sucky. And maybe we'll glue some maybe I'll put some foam behind it and push the fire extinguisher back again. That won't be right behind your ear. I figured I'd jump over to the CB, but let's go see how long these wires are. Because you got to make it from the mirrors to where the radio is. Looks pretty good. We got, let go. All right. So they tie together. Of course they should, right? So that's 6. We got 12 feet. Let's go mount the antennas first. Let's go start with that. We'll go figure out how we're going to want these set up. And from there, we can kind of run the wires on the floor and just make sure we line up all right. Old school. Yeah. Sometimes in your head, things work out better than what they actually are. Plus, the other problem is, too, see how they're kind of kicked out at an angle? I really want them straight up. There's no adjustment on them. Thought there possibly would have been, but I want to take this on the mirror anyway. I don't like the way it leans out. And cut the tab off, crush the metal down, drill another hole, and so they're squared up. That'll take care of that problem of getting them more linear to the truck. But the other thing is too is how are we going to run a wire without, so we'd have to come from here, and you got to attach it to the door, right? So we got to come down to a pivot point down here somewhere, then we can jump around into the floor. I don't know what we got to kind of work with. You look at the other side over there, there's not much of a gap between the A-pillar and the door to run that down to the hinge. Maybe we'll stop right there. We'll drive. We'll see how they are, how windy they are. Maybe we'll come up with something different. Maybe we'll do like a whip antenna off one of the quarter panels or something coming up off the side. And then we could just drill a hole in the body and run it, the one wire, through to the radio. Yeah, all right. That's as far as we're going to go with that. And we have that overflow hose right there that goes to nowhere and needs a bottle. So let's go put a bottle somewhere in this tin. Let's go grab it, see where it'll fit. Didn't see it. What do you think the chances are I'm going to mount that upside down? We have to figure out which one is the one that goes down the tube, because that's the one that gets. So this is the one that connects to the radiator, goes down to the bottle, because as the radiator heats up, it pushes fluid out, gets shot into here. Air can breathe out of this side, or if this bottle ever overflowed, it would dump it out too. But when it cools off, it has to be able to draw, like you're sucking on a drink, be able to draw as it cools back up and fills the radiator back up again. So we will go with that. And we'll cut that to fit there. And then put the rest of the hose off the front. We'll just let it run down the rest of the way. Don't be too short. Doesn't need any clamps, it's like one anymore. I made tie wrap to that choke cable. Yeah, I'll put a tie wrap around that, just hold the other side from flopping around a little bit. I put some fluid in it even. Imagine that. How are we doing anyway? Level wise. Down about an inch, but that's, see, without this, that's where the reservoir is. It'll keep burping itself till it has a little bit of room to go do that. But I'd rather have the top of the radiator filled. So I'll top that off. So the steering wheel is, when driving down the road, looks something like that, a little out of whack. I don't know if it's got splines on it. We can kind of tweak it back to center, or if you have to do it with the tie rods down below. I don't see any screws for the horn. My guess, maybe we twist it and it pops off. That's a guess. After we break it, we'll look it up. There you go. Good. Let's go get ourselves a shocket. Looks like they got it marked. There's a tab on it with a mark. But again, like I said, right now, it's about straight ahead. If we can get it to pop free, it's got the 2 screws too that we can get the, yeah, spider's gone. You can get 2 screws, you get the wheel to pop off, and we'll drive down the road. We'll find where it is happy, and we'll kind of set it back down. Let's get a ratchet. Wasn't bad at all. That's not what gets you though. It's the next step that gets you. Sometimes it comes right apart. Sometimes not so much. Let's see if it'll just. Yeah, you didn't think that was gonna happen, did you? Let's go get a puller. There you just go. Look at that. It just wants to come apart. Good. I'm gonna go take all that stuff back off of there. And a quick inspection, make sure everything looks good in here. That's the horn ring. That's what you arc out across the 2 of these is what makes the horn ring. I think we're fine. Get that set up, and I don't know. Are we ready to go for a ride? I think I've played it around enough today. loosely. Bring tools with us. We'll start with that. Hey, let's go for a spin. You figure out where that clutch grabs too. And reverse. Really low. That's okay. It's probably 3 inches off the bottom of the floor, where before it was about an inch from the top. What's that rattling? We'll still do it. We may need to go look into that. We'll go for a ride anyway, though. I think we're good. We got no traffic behind us. Go running through the gears. Definitely, the linkage is kind of clacking a little more than it was before. I think I just got to grease everything up. It might be, I want up the clutch rod. And it's a different position that it rattles. One of the, those shift rods are probably, I don't know, 5 feet long. So maybe the clutch lever is in a different position. Everything seems to be functioning good. Again, the clutch grabs about 3 inches up, where before it was all the way at the very end. Again, that's how much thickness there was to the disc and how much pressure the pressure plate was applying. Totally a different feel to it. Our steering wheel, we are way out. I think this clear part, the smooth part here, is supposed to be on the top. It's not even not even in the same realm. So maybe we'll get up here on a straightaway if we can. We'll kind of pull over. We'll give our first index to get it closer, and then maybe we have to, maybe dance it a tooth or two. Runs nice though. Really, it's got a fairly smooth drive to it. It's not bouncy or choppy like a lot of pickup trucks are. A friend of mine had like a 3/4 ton Dodge pickup, like an 80s. That thing drove like there was no suspension. It's pretty cushy. Yeah, this is a really light duty truck. You look at what it had for a rear end and a trans, it's probably what's in a Mustang, 8-bolt rear with a transmission probably weighed 80 pounds. My dad had like a 70 Ford pickup, and I remember doing a clutch in that thing. Me and my brother, I was probably 15 years old, my brother was 18-ish. And the two of us, again, you're crawling underneath it with blocks of wood trying to hold it up. Like we were doing before, we were trying to get the trans started back into the clutch disc, the input shaft. And we fought with that thing, again, with no jack, just blocks of wood. And then each of us on each side of it, huffing it, and trying to get it to work in and pop into the thing. I think it might have been winter too. Makes you hardy, doesn't it? All right, let's go find ourselves a little straightaway here. There's actually a school driveway. Let's go on this school driveway. We didn't pass it. And we'll pull over there on like a development road. Someone's getting a new driveway. Need to locate for my skid steer. I got to get another bucket for it. What's the name of them? A root bucket. So it's kind of like a grapple bucket, but the bottom part of it has like teeth underneath if we're getting up underneath brush. All right, here we go. Let's go down here on a straightaway and I get stopped on the third gear. Let's go stop her right there. Let's go unbolt it and try to index that straight. We'll leave it loose and we'll do like one last final tune. It's kind of spring loaded pushing up too. And so we want something like that. You can probably just cruise right here straight. See if it'll, you good enough. We got to go 1 tooth that way. Buzz it down the road, see how it does. I want to put my speed knob on it too, my necker knob. Looking pretty good. Let's go find a nice little scenic road to go for a spin down. Bog it down third gear. This looks pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, let's go run it through the gears. Hard. No slippage. Perfect. You know, we're finally kind of getting in the spring. I think we did a test drive on the Beetle about 2 weeks ago. Everything was still gray, and now everything's kind of popping up. There's a project. As far as how much money I got into it, this is just gonna be a guess off the top of my head. I think I paid $3 grand for the truck when I started. Probably another $2 grand total. That's not including all the labor. We did a lot of metal work on it. And maybe $2 grand. We're in it for about 5. And again, however much labor, but you count your labor at. But I enjoyed it. At some point, I think I talked about in the past where you start wrenching on stuff and when you're filming on it, it takes away from the momentum when you're working on something, because you have to stop, set the camera up, move it around, go and get back at it again. So I showed about half the metal work and body work on it, and then at some point I stopped. I just started doing it without turning the camera on. It became much more enjoyable to get it knocked out. Still needs more. Like I said, the paint on the side is just spray bombs. It is all this Chalmers orange matches the orange that was on the truck. So if and when I ever get to the point of wanting to really get the body straightened out, yeah, it's a little ripply and dented and dinged and whatnot, then I could actually paint it with a true automotive paint. But now it's easy to touch up. You just walk around and give it a little spit. Anything happens to it. And you're not afraid to park it next to somebody, you know, go to lunch or something. You don't have to worry about getting door dings or anything. Little swampy area over here. Then go a little bit further up. There's some nice like farmhouses and pastures. The antennas seem quiet. They don't make any noise. There's no wind noise coming off of them, which is nice. It's kind of afraid of getting like a howl from them. I have a first gen Toyota 4Runner, and somebody put those, you know, those little plastic rain guards on the side of it. Thing can make a ton of noise. You can get rid of them. There's no squeaks, no rattles. The fire extinguisher behind me is quiet. Just the linkage needs to be loomed up. I think when I took the linkage apart, I think it might have rotated on those couplers a little bit, and I think the two rods kind of touch. Not so much in the forward gears, just when you put it in reverse, it seemed like they're probably just rubbing on each other. To tweak them a little. Not exactly a powerhouse, but it'll go. Almost everything's been massaged. I still got to do the seats. All the foam is gone out of the seats, so you're sitting in them. They look good. Not feeling all that great though. Like the springs, the bottom's okay. The back is what's gone. So you feel the springs in your back. I'm probably gonna take the covers that are on them, and I'll take like the foam matting that you put on a carpet, like on carpet underlayment, that little thick, half-inch thick foam. I'll probably use that, and then some thin foam on the outer side. And also, I've done like burlap sack. Go runner. Got a slow speed limit through here. And I got the headliner. I already cut it out. It's not in it right now. Fortunately, it's nice and quiet. It doesn't rattle. Like some cars, it without a headliner in, it's ridiculous. This isn't too bad. So I got a headliner cut out from the original pattern, and I have a board game. I'll show it at some. Not today. I have a board game, the game Twister. That's gonna get glued to it, and then my headliner is gonna be the Twister game. And then on the console where the engine bay is, I'm gonna put the spinner. Makes for entertaining ride. You get stuck in traffic. Pile, what do we got? No. Yeah, it's a nice field up here, farm field. A couple of them. New England, land of old barns. That's where all this, where we find all our so-called barn finds. It's really pretty up here. I think we got the most per capita. I think same thing with stone walls. I think we have the most stone walls of any state. You just look, there are, some are new, a lot of them are old. Again, wherever there was a farm, they would take the stone out of the fields and line the edges of the property with them. That's a nice view there. Getting ready. Planting. Another old barn. Which way should we go? A mix of newer homes, it's not like where the farms are, and then the original farmhouse. Most of the time is still there. They kind of keep that in place, but there'll be like 100-acre, 50-acre farm, and then it gets divided up, unfortunately. And get a bunch of, you want to call them McMansions. Yeah. Which is pretty much all these style houses here. And again, where you see all these trees and everything, none of that was there. It would be all fields, and that's where all these stone walls. You see it pretty much every road that you drive down here. This was a dirt road at some point, and then there's just the stone walls from the fields and from the road. They just get plopped on the side. Hence, some neater than others. Plus the trees grow up through them too, and they push them around. They get organized ones like that, some get cleaned up, but for the most part, so that's all the natural stuff that's a couple hundred years old. I think they might have made it a law too that you're not allowed to disturb them. I don't know. At some point, you not call it a stone wall anymore. Sometimes it gets so dilapidated. Yeah, we'll go with that. At one point, you can't even call it a wall anymore. Like that. You know it's there, but it is what it isn't. This original farmhouse here. Very common for us. You can just go pull up on the side of the road and get produce and eggs and stuff. You just kind of go in, what's they call it, the honor system. There'll be like a little tackle box that you put your $4 or $5 in for a dozen eggs and leave. Most of the time there's no problems. Well, I think we should try to find a place to kind of go pull over. See if there's anything pissing out of the bottom of it. Slipping now. Still gotta take my steering wheel up. Pretty happy with his position though. Retro trailers. Everything old is new again. Styles come back around. You can start making these again. I don't think they'll pass the crash test anymore. There was an old farmhouse barn on the right hand side. There was one on the right and one on the left. I think the right one's been gone for a while and the left might still have remnants. Yeah, right here I rescued a VW bus. There was a barn in there. Actually there was a barn right here too. Not all that long ago. 10 years ago maybe? 10, 15? That was the original farmhouse right there. Might even be a video on it, one of my first ones. I saw it sticking out of the garage door. I got asking around, and they said, "You can have it if you want it." It was a bay window, and I was putting together a bay window at the time. And while I was pulling it out of there, somebody up here, or a guy stopped. I don't know where he was from, and he said, "Up here in the field, there's a split window bus." And I went to go explore that. It's in the woods here somewhere, and there was somebody out, there's a house up here on the corner. I went and I asked them about it back in here. And he goes, yeah, there was really nothing left. It was on his property. And he actually owned the property for a while. And he didn't even know it was there for a while. He goes, yeah, I just discovered it about 6 months ago. But he said it was rotted down to the ground. Kind of like the one I have hanging on the wall. Free mower. You want a mower? Matches the truck. Like a Scott's. It was this house on the corner right here. His backyard. Speaking of old barns, it's a garage here that looks like the roof is just done on. Got a hawk circle on it up top. And back there, showing up, that barn's all collapsed. It's just so expensive to keep barns together. Like they're trying to save the house. They got the chimney wrapped and the roof covered. But that's like a 1750s house. Well guys, I think our shakedown run did pretty good. We are not done, but we are super close to the finish line. It's got some, smalls to kind of take care of. It's got just mostly interior and everything. Most of the mechanical things are done. Not worried about that anymore. We've got that taken care of. But it's just some smalls. Free up the linkages and tweak some stuff. Headliner, seat reupholstery. But it's doing pretty good. Needed a lot of love, but the love has been given to it. So I think for this one, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. I may or may not show the headliner in the future. We'll see how that kind of plans out. What I'll probably do is if I get it done, I'll just show it in another video. It'll be like on the end of it or something. Antennas, I'm still not quite sure about whether I like them or not. I may still go with that whip, but we'll see. All right, guys, with that, we are done, and we got that done. Well, the next one, I'll see ya. We gotta be quick about it, don't we?